in the village of Farndon on the English-Welsh border stands the church of St Chad. St Chad was the first bishop of the Mercians. This church has a very long and dramatic history, and it's believed that wooden structures stood on here from the earliest times, indeed from Celtic times. From the earliest medieval period right through to the 17th century when battles raged around the walls of St Chad's, it just goes to show you what history lays beneath our feet. St Michael's Church here in Marbury, Cheshire stands on a slight rise, and it overlooks what is known as the Big Mere. We know that in the year of 1299 AD, a timber wattle and daub church stood on this site. However, in the 15th century, a stone church was built. St Michael's stands here in an idyllic landscape on the Cheshire-Shropshire border. A schoolhouse also once stood here in the churchyard as far back as 1688, only to be demolished in 1824. The walls carved from local sandstone surround the church and date back as far as the 16th century. Now I'm sure that just like me, you can appreciate the beauty and the tranquility of this landscape here in the village of Marbury. However, it's even more interesting to think that this landscape has been used as a place of worship since the 12th century. The beauty of the Cheshire village of Lower Peover cannot be underestimated, with its chocolate box cottages, its wonderful old pub and stunning church with its roots dating back to early medieval times. Lower Peover stands approximately 6 miles east of Northwich and 4 miles south of Knutsford. A popular destination for locals and tourists, Lower Peover is like taking a walk back in time. By the 16th century, this small church had increased vastly in size, measuring 80 feet east to west and 40 feet wide. We're here today in Plumley, just a couple of miles away from Mickle Trafford near Chester. The site of St Peter's Church here in Plumley was once the most likely a hermitage, where it was occupied by St Plegmund himself in the late 9th century. A Mercian by birth, Plegmond lived as a hermit on a raised area where St Peter's Church stands today. Surrounded by marshes, it was known as the Isle of Chester. He lived his life as an emirate monk for many years until 890 AD, before finally being summoned by a young King Alfred the Great to his court.